So, it's been a while since I've done this, but the translations are out for My Hero Academia Manga chapter 378, and boy oh boy do we come back once again with a banger. I will tell you why that is, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to do my manga review for My Hero Academia Manga chapter 378, titled The Story of How We All Became Heroes Part 4. So yeah, you know for a fact that this is going to be an amazing chapter for the fact that it has this title in the title, and we do not get it until the end of the chapter. Spoilers. But the build up to that moment is very amazing because we get a lot of reveals in this chapter. We get returning characters, returning villains, returning heroes, and just a whole bunch of good stuff that I can't wait to talk about. So let's just dive right into it and talk about this chapter and review it. So when it comes to this chapter, pretty much it's separated into two major parts. The first part just really being confronting what's going on with Skeptic, what's going on with La Brava. We finally get confirmation that La Brava was the one that broke into Skeptic's system way in the distant past. This is something that we've known for a while, that someone has actually hacked into Skeptic, and this was his one failure, and we see that it was La Brava, and apparently La Brava did it in probably the best or the funniest ways by using just cats to break into the system, because she was like, hey, I want to test my hacking skills. Let's break into one of like the highest ranked like companies in the entirety of Japan. Let's see if I can mess with them. And apparently he has tryptophobia in reference to Skeptic. So it's great that we get this confirmation in this chapter, because this is a theory that many people have had for a long time. So getting it confirmed in this chapter is amazing. That's not the only amazing thing that people were predicting in this chapter, and we will be getting to that shortly. But as we see that Skeptic is trying to leave, he brings up the idea that as long as he's able to leave and La Brava is unable to access the UA evacuation system, then he's going to win. And we do see that La Brava is having a little bit of trouble, as UA is confirmed to be falling from the sky, and that she's unable to really do a lot at this moment in time. It takes her a little bit more time for her to really more or less like redo the system of UA to work with the parts that they have, as you have someone chiming in being not necessarily racist but villainous, where he's like, oh man, I can't believe it, we should never have trusted villains, it was a mistake to trust a villain, blah 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 blah. But then you just have Tsukachi's like, yeah, a crime is a crime, but like, I think there's something to do with these people that we need to focus on, as he remembers Aoyama. And this is where we get the second reveal of this chapter, the return of one of the most fan favorite villains in the entire series. Because as we have just one page of Deku and Shigaraki just remembering what Shigaraki has said about what makes people heroes and what makes people villains, we cut over to some characters, specifically Kaminari, trying to escape the battery that they are in, realizing that it's being overrun by twice clones, as we get both Fukudashi and Kaminari being very worried about what's going on with Aizawa and Monoma, as well as we have the fighter pilots who are also worried about what's going on, afraid of getting their airplanes hacked and potentially having friendly fire occur on the battlefield at this moment, where it's finally revealed that Gentle Criminal has returned, as well as we do get some returning characters as well. We get the returning characters of Shindo, Miss Joke, and Hound Dog, which is very important because Hound Dog is actually involved in what we remember was the arrest of Gentle Criminal. So getting to see him here, as well as getting to see Gentle Criminal here, is just very amazing. Also, once again, Gentle Criminal is back, and this was the second thing that I really want to talk about, because this is something that many people predicted was going to be an outcome in the final war, or at the very least believed that Gentle Criminal was going to come back. The moment the idea that people were thinking of that UA is going to fall, immediately people thought that, oh yeah, Gentle Criminal is going to make a trampoline that is going to more or less like hold UA in place or push it back into the air, which is confirmed to be true in this chapter. And we see that he's able to do this not of his own strength alone, but because of La Brava's power, where he goes into his full lover mode And it is probably the most ultimate love form he will ever have, because later on in the chapter, he explains how because he was separated from La Brava, their love has grown stronger. The entirety of La Brava's quirk is that her quirk is fueled by her love for the person that she cares about most. And if their love has grown stronger, therefore, Gentle Criminal grew stronger. What is amazing about this is that this was kind of hinted at a while back towards the beginning of this arc, or the beginning of this saga, with the reveal that we get a flashback to how Gentle Criminal got into this moment, or got into this situation, because a month and a half ago, he was a prisoner in one of the prisons that All for One broke prisoners out of. And this is some information that we may have learned a little bit later, that of the 7 prisons that All for One broke prisoners out of, only 6 of them had prisoners running around. And that's because in the 7th one, where Gentle Criminal was in, he was able to subdue all of them and prevented more villains from escaping. Which in reality makes so much sense within the series, because not only was he one of the villains that gave Deku a little bit more problem when it comes to his actual fighting capabilities, also, he was able to wipe out just a bunch of heroes with his lover mode alone, as well as, we have to remember, he's actually classically trained in being a hero. Now, mind you, probably not the best hero, but he does have training to be a hero. And in this moment, he begins questioning whether or not they should actually be going out and escaping prison and causing havoc, as we see all of the criminals like, oh yeah, I want to get revenge, I want to kill this person. Gentle Criminal's like, are you sure about this? We probably shouldn't be doing this. And he seems to be afraid, he seems to be wary, but he remembers the words of Deku, and he seems to be wary and he seems to be afraid, but he gains the determination and bravery after remembering the words of Deku and begins to fight off the villains, where this is the moment where the police officers come, they offer him something in return to compensate for him literally preventing a jailbreak from breaking out, and all he asks is to see La Brava and most likely to help in the final war. It's just so amazing that we actually get to see Gentle Criminal play a big role in this war, and this is something that many people wanted and what many people predicted was going to happen, so it's great that this is happening. But that's not even the final reveal that we get in this chapter, because the chapter ends once again with Deku realizing that what is happening is that Gentle is helping him and preventing UA from falling, but unfortunately he still has to deal with this Shigaraki right in front of him, and as Shigaraki is about to decay the ground, his arm gets shot off, and as we see, the bullet pretty much resembles another type of bullet that we've seen earlier in this saga, earlier in this act. It is revealed through the speech of Tsukachi that it doesn't matter about how these people have crossed the line, that they are still human, and that we need to not forget that we must see deep inside and see their origins, as we get revealed that Lady Nagant is here, is back, and she is in the fight as well. And what is very interesting about this is that even though she's in the fight, you can see that she still has bandages all over her body and even on her sniper rifle itself. So let me just say, this is probably one of the best ways to end this chapter. Just emphasizing the point of having 2 previous villains now turn to the side of good and be for the side of the heroes. And many people did predict that Gentle Criminal was going to be in the final war, but not many people were expecting Lady Nagant to be in the war as well. Which makes sense because she did survive the explosion itself, and we see that even though she did survive, she's still heavily damaged and not fully healed. But we see that that's not really a factor. It doesn't matter how injured you are in this fight. If you have the capability of fighting, you are going to fight one way or another. So it's very great to see that Horikoshi did not forget her character, did not forget she existed, because that's something else that people said, and that most likely she's going to be playing a role in this fight to, if not just shoot Tomura Shigaraki with a whole bunch of bullets, that's all she really needs to do, in my opinion. So yeah, this is pretty much the chapter that we have, and let me just say that I really did enjoy it. I just love the callbacks and the returning characters in this chapter. And I really just enjoy the themes of what it means to be a hero, what it means to be a villain, and how you don't necessarily have to be a villain. It is more or less a choice that you can consciously make. Therefore, if you want to, you can turn to the side of good. which is important to take into account for the fact that Deku is most likely going to be trying his best to save Tomodachi Shigaraki in this moment, and we see that Deku has shown his capability of turning villains to the side of heroism. So I can't wait to see where this is going to be going in the future. I can't wait to see like what these characters are going to do later on down the line and what's going to be happening with these characters and their involvement in the fight in the upcoming chapters. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on the topic for right now. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the chapter. Let me ask you, what do you think of these characters' return? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you expect that both of these characters were going to return? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to get you in my next video. Goodbye!